Welcome to This Explainer. Today we are looking at the boundless reach of divine light, which is a deep dive into Psalm 36. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the world, or maybe just trapped by the narrow focus of your own daily routine, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to analyze a profound text from the Bible that pulls our perspective dramatically upward, shifting our gaze away from our own limitations and straight toward the boundless reach of His light. Right at the beginning here, let's establish our focus. Listen to Psalm 36:5. Your love, Lord, reaches to the heavens, your faithfulness to the skies. This perfectly captures the vast, boundless nature of our Father. We are looking at the ultimate contrast between the tiny, narrow confines of human life and the breathtaking, limitless reality of the divine. So, to outline the big picture first before we dive into the details, here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the boundless divine light, life without the fear, the 4 divine attributes, the source of true light, steps for college students, and wrap up with a final conclusion and reflection. All right, Section 1, the boundless divine light. Let's set the historical stage. It's super important to provide some historical context for the topic before diving into the specifics. David actually authored this passage in the Bible not just as some poetic exercise, but to establish the stark reality of human nature when we are completely separated from the Creator. It's a very intentional framing. Before he shows us the heights of God's character, he wants us to understand exactly what we're being saved from. He's basically holding a mirror right up to the human heart. Moving on to Section 2, life without the fear, the depths of human depravity. Now, this part is fascinating because we're going to compare and contrast 2 completely different theories presented in the sources, and it highlights a core idea based on Reformed Calvinism theology. On one side, you have the theory of life without God. This represents total human depravity. Without Him, the human heart just defaults to self-flattery, plotting harm, and having absolutely zero fear of God. It's a pretty bleak, closed-off system, right? But then compare that with the theory of divine reality. This is all about His sovereign goodness, vast love, and pure perfection. The sources make it clear. You simply cannot fully appreciate the breathtaking reality of the Father until you acknowledge the total depravity of a life lived without Him. Which brings us to Section 3, the 4 divine attributes, exploring His perfect character. To summarize the key findings here, look at how David uses the most expansive imagery possible to describe Him. It's absolutely incredible. He highlights 4 breathtaking attributes. First, His love. It reaches all the way up to the heavens. Second, His faithfulness extends right into the skies. Third, His righteousness stands firm and unmovable, just like great mountains. And fourth, His justice is as profound and vast as the great deep ocean. When your world feels small or super stressful, looking up at these 4 pillars is the ultimate antidote to reset your entire perspective. Let's jump into Section 4, the source of true light, seeing reality in Him. We really need to highlight the main argument and supporting evidence here. Listen to Psalm 36:9. For with you is the fountain of life. In your light, we see light. The crucial point is that He isn't merely participating in goodness or just reflecting light. He is the literal source of all goodness. This has got to be one of the most tightly packed, powerful theological statements in the entire Bible. So, what does "in His light we see light" actually mean for us? Well, it defines the reality that every single good thing, every ounce of beauty, truth, and justice comes straight from God the Father and ultimately points directly back to Him. Simply put, He is the reason we can see or experience anything true at all. Without His light, we are literally just guessing in the dark. Only in His presence does our world finally come into focus and become real.
All right, Section 5, steps for college students, living in the light.
Now let's focus on the implications of the data for college students and ministry leaders navigating the pressures of daily life. I'm going to explain the step-by-step process described in the document that you can use right now. Step 1, ask honestly where self-flattery creeps in. You've got to root out that self-focus we talked about earlier. Step 2, worship Him genuinely for who He is, not just for what goes right in your classes. Step 3, read the Bible actively to seek His light, rather than just treating it as a religious to-do list. And Step 4, take time to reflect on where His light actually broke through this semester. Where did you see His faithfulness or justice play out on campus? Actionable steps like these are exactly how you bridge the gap between grand theology and a regular Tuesday morning. Which brings us to Section 6, Final Conclusion and Reflection, ending with clarity. To finish with a clear conclusion of the research we've analyzed today. True meaning absolutely does not come from looking inward at our own total depravity. It comes from looking upward at His perfect attributes. We shouldn't measure our days by our own academic or personal achievements, but by what we encounter of Him. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to deeply consider. Where has self-focus replaced the vision of God's character in your own life today? It's definitely something to challenge your heart as you finish out your week. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep looking to the light, and I'll catch you next time.